Hey there, Susan Sanford from Vineyard Complementary Medicine, here today to talk about happy feet, happy body, and to go over why our feet are so important to the overall, health and alignment to the rest of our body. We're going to talk about what a normal foot looks like. We're going to talk about how your feet can affect the rest of your body, how the rest of your body can affect the alignment, structure, and health of your feet, as well as some common issues that we may be experiencing that we should pay attention to and possibly address to prevent long-term problems. So let's talk about what does a normal foot look like. A normal foot has a nice arch, not too high. Okay, so let's look at my relatively, we'll call them, this is what we get today, so as close we get to normal. Okay, an arch, not too flat and not too high. Okay, good motion, pointing your toes as well as pulling them back. Your big toe, bending, and it should be able to bend all the way back, full range of motion. Okay, there should be no abnormal like bumps or lumps or clawing of your toes. And you should be able to have full, free, pain-free motion. You should also look at the bottoms of your feet and make sure that there's no significant calluses, especially calluses that are different on one foot than the other. So let's let that lead us into playing the game, what's different. Really important to look at your feet and to say what's different. We are born with, our joints, our body parts are created equal. So why do they start to look different? If your feet are starting to look different, left side versus right side, whether it be when you're standing, you have more of an arch on one side, flatter on the other, maybe one side you can see a little nub on your big toe is starting, or one of your big toes is starting to cave in to start to mimic what a bunion looks like. A bunion is when your big toe kind of curves, angles away from the midline because of abnormal walking postures. So whenever you're playing the game, what's different with your feet? Look up, because the cause of what's happening and what's creating a change in one side could be because of a knee issue, a hip issue. What I find more often than not is an alignment issue of your low back, pelvis, sacrum. So basically your lumbopelvic area. When you have misalignments in your lumbopelvic area, you can potentially have a limb length discrepancy. So it doesn't mean that one leg is structurally shorter, which again, if you do have a structural limb length issue, that will affect the posture and alignment of your foot. But if you have a low back misalignment, then that's going to create what we call a postural limb length discrepancy. And so one leg is going to act longer or shorter than the other, and therefore cause your foot to sit and rest in a different position than the other. So if you're looking at your feet, and if you're standing there and one foot is postured out. So let's see if we can see my feet here. So if one foot is say out like this, when you're standing there, then that could mean that you have a misalignment in your low back or pelvis. If you have one foot that's collapsed down, okay, so it's flatter than the other, then the flatter foot is acting like it's longer. The shorter foot is kind of arching up and rolling onto the outer part because it's acting like the shorter limb, which will affect every step you take. It will affect the structures of your foot. So make sure that if you see asymmetries in your feet, go get it checked out. Chiropractor, physical therapist will help you with that, or another qualified healthcare practitioner. Now let's talk about issues from the knee down. So if you have then symmetrical issues in your foot. So a normal foot should not have any lumps or bumps or clawed toes. And if you do, or bunion, which is the big toe angling away. Let's talk about why we get bunions. We get bunions because your feet collapse inward, okay? When your feet collapse inward and you try to walk, right? You're walking and you're pushing off that big toe, and that big toe is just pushing away and pushing away. So flat feet, you push off the big toe and it's angling it away from the midline. That's how a bunion is born. Okay, so those arches need to be corrected. to prevent a bunion. High arches, bilateral high arches, are another very rigid. You're not absorbing the shock like you need to, and then you can be at risk for plantar fasciitis. You could be at risk for low back pain as well, because you're not getting the shock absorption. So any deviation away from the norm, make sure you get that checked out. Any pain, make sure that you're looking at your shoes and your feet. Remember, like we talked about, looking at the calluses. Look at the calluses at the bottom of your feet. If they're symmetrical, okay, that's not so bad. If they're asymmetrical, definitely look at alignment issues. Look at your shoes. You should have the symmetrical wear pattern on your shoes. If you don't, then that's a clue that you may need to look higher above the knees and see what's happening and work on your alignment. So a normal foot has a moderate arch, not too high, not too low. Your big toes are straight, they're not getting pushed in. Your toes are not clawed. You shouldn't have any lumps or bumps, and things should be symmetrical, and you should have full range of motion. Symmetrical issues, that need to be corrected, you may need orthotics. When you get to a certain age, like here, you need to understand that, there's only, life is too short, and it's going to take a lot of work to keep your feet healthy. Orthotics, especially custom orthotics, might be the right answer for you. If you have asymmetrical issues, again, just to sum up, then look at your alignment, look at your pelvis, and then make sure, because if your feet are protected and your low back is in good alignment, then everything in between will be healthy as well. So to recap, we talked about what a normal foot looks like, what asymmetry, or let's play the game, what's different. If there's something different about one foot and versus the other one, look above the knees and make sure that things are in alignment. If you have symmetrical issues, then make sure that you're working towards normal motion, full range of motion, no pain. Look at those calluses and consult a foot expert, again, physical therapist, healthcare practitioner, podiatrist, to get some advisement on how to manage your feet, because our feet are the first things that hit the ground in the morning. They are our foundation. In Chinese medicine, you plant your feet, your first kidney point is the most grounding point that we connect our feet to the earth with. So they're very symbolic, but they're also very practical, and we need them every day. If your feet aren't happy, and if your feet are giving you pain, then it really does affect your whole day and your whole body, as we talked about. And if you have happy feet, then you'll have a happy body and you'll have a happy life. So again, this is Susan Sanford from Vineyard Complementary Medicine. We're out in beautiful Chappaquiddick Island today. I don't know if you can see it behind me. Beautiful Cape Pogue Pond. It's pretty awesome out here. So thank you everybody for joining. Bye-bye.